Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into a topic that most of us try to avoid like the plague: failure. I know, it's not the sexiest topic. We love hearing success stories, the overnight sensations, the highlight reels. But what if I told you that the secret ingredient to all that success is hidden right inside the very thing we're so afraid of? Think about the last time something didn't go your way. A project at work tanked. A business idea fizzled out. Maybe you didn't get that job you wanted. What was your first reaction? If you're like most people, you probably felt that gut punch of disappointment. Maybe you felt a little embarrassed, frustrated, or even angry. You probably just wanted to close the book on it, forget it ever happened, and move on as quickly as possible. I've been there more times than I can count. But here's the problem with that sweep it under the rug approach. When we just move on, we leave a gold mine of information behind. Every failure, every misstep, every ups moment is packed with priceless data. It's like a black box from a crashed airplane, holding all the clues about what went wrong and, more importantly, how to avoid it in the future. Today, we're going to learn how to become detectives of our own failures. We're going to pry open that black box, analyze the data, and use it to build our future successes. This isn't about dwelling on the negative. It's about turning our losses into our greatest lessons. So, where do we start? The first step, and honestly the hardest one, is to detach emotionally. When you're in the thick of a failure, your emotions are running high. You're not thinking clearly, you're just reacting. You need to give yourself a little time and space. Take a day, take a walk, do whatever you need to do to let the initial sting fade. Think of yourself as a scientist looking at an experiment. The experiment didn't yield the expected result. Okay, that's not a personal failing. It's a data point. The goal is to shift from I am a failure to I experienced a failure, and now I'm going to learn from it. This mindset shift is everything. It takes the shame out of the equation and replaces it with curiosity. Once you've got some emotional distance, it's time to get forensic. Grab a notebook or open a document and start asking some tough, honest questions. The first question is the most basic. What exactly happened? Don't just say, the project failed. Get specific. The marketing campaign for product X did not meet its sales target by 40% in the first quarter. See the difference. One is a vague, emotional statement. The other is a factual, measurable observation. You have to define the problem with crystal clarity before you can even think about solving it. Write down the sequence of events objectively as possible. What were the key decisions made? Who was involved? What were the external factors at play? Now, we dig deeper. The next question is, why did it happen? And I don't want a surface-level answer. I want you to use the 5 whys technique, a method made famous by Toyota. You start with your problem statement. The campaign didn't meet its sales target, and you ask why. 5 times. So, why didn't it meet the target? Maybe the answer is, our ads didn't reach the right audience. Okay, that's why number 1. Why number 2? Why didn't they reach the right audience? Because we targeted the wrong demographic on social media. Why number 3? Why did we target the wrong demographic? Because our initial market research was incomplete. Why number 4? Why was the research incomplete? Because we rushed the research phase to meet a tight deadline. And finally, why number 5? Why did we have such a tight deadline? Because the project planning didn't account for potential delays in research. Boom. Do you see what just happened? We went from a simple "the ads didn't work" to a deep, systemic root cause, poor project planning. Now we have something truly actionable. The problem wasn't just the ad, it was the entire process leading up to the ad. If we had just stopped at the ads didn't work, our solution might have been to just make new ads. But now we know we need to fix our project planning process. That's a much more powerful and lasting solution. It prevents not just this one failure, but a whole category of future failures. After you've identified the root cause, The next step is to brainstorm solutions. But don't just stop at one. Come up with multiple potential fixes. For our example, the solutions could be implementing a mandatory checklist for project planning, building in a buffer period for market research, or using a more robust data analysis tool. Once you have a list of options, evaluate them. Which one is most likely to solve the root cause? Which is most feasible to implement right now with your current resources? This is the point where you extract the actual, tangible insight. Your insight isn't "I failed." Your insight is, for all future marketing campaigns, our project plan must include a 2-week dedicated phase for comprehensive market research and a 1-week buffer before launch. That is a rule. That is a system. That is a concrete piece of wisdom forged in the fire of failure. You've officially turned a loss into a strategic advantage. Let's think about this in another context. Say you're learning a new skill, like playing the guitar. You keep messing up a certain chord. The sweep it under the rug approach is to just get frustrated and avoid that chord. The analytical approach is to stop and ask, what is actually happening here? Is your finger placement off? Is your hand positioned awkwardly? Are you not pressing down hard enough? You could even record yourself playing and watch it back in slow motion. That's data collection. Maybe you realize your thumb is in the wrong place on the back of the neck. That's the root cause. The insight is the specific adjustment you need to make. By methodically breaking down the failure, you identify the precise micro-correction needed for success. This process applies everywhere, to relationships, to personal finance, to fitness goals. Did a diet not work? Don't just say, diets don't work for me. Analyze it. What specifically was the point of failure? Was it the late-night snacking? Why were you snacking late at night? Because you were bored, stressed. Why were you bored or stressed? You follow that why chain until you get to the root of the behavior. The solution might not be a new diet, but finding a better way to manage stress in the evenings, like taking up a hobby or practicing mindfulness. The final, and most crucial, step is to share what you've learned. Now, this doesn't mean you have to broadcast your failures to the world on a billboard. It can be as simple as sharing the insights with your team at work, your business partner, or even just a trusted friend. When you create a culture, even just with yourself and one other person, where it's safe to talk about what went wrong, you multiply the learning. Your team can avoid making the same mistake. Your friend can offer a new perspective you hadn't considered. It changes failure from a source of shame into a source of collective growth. It builds resilience, trust, and a powerful learning organization, even if that organization is just you. So, let's recap the process. 1. Detach emotionally and adopt a curious, scientific mindset. 2. Define the failure with specific, factual detail. 3. Use the 5 whys to dig down to the absolute root cause. 4. Brainstorm and evaluate multiple solutions to address that root cause. 5. Extract a concrete, actionable rule or system to prevent it from happening again. And a bonus step 6. Share your insights to multiply the learning. Failure is not the opposite of success. It's a part of success. It's the messy, uncomfortable, but absolutely necessary stepping stone. Every expert was once a beginner who failed 1,000 times. Every successful company has a graveyard of failed products that taught them invaluable lessons. The only true failure is the one from which we learn nothing. So the next time you stumble, the next time something doesn't go to plan, I want you to get a little bit excited, because you've just been handed a free, masterclass level lesson. All you have to do is be brave enough to open the textbook and read it. Thank you so much for spending this time with me today. I hope this reframes how you look at your own challenges. If you got any value from this video, you know what to do? Hit that like button. And for more content on turning life's obstacles into opportunities, make sure you subscribe to the channel and ring that notification bell. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Share a time of failure taught you a valuable lesson. Let's learn from each other. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.